Yeah. So championship season coming up. So we had our first big meet, competing against a bunch of schools other than just a dual meet. So that was nice to kind of get some competition against a lot of people on the line. And so we were up in Seattle a couple weekends ago. These two both raced great, both top 15. I believe you were 14th? Yeah, 14th and then 10th. Yeah, so top 15 placers for both of them. So it was our pre-national meet. So there's a lot of good schools across the country there, in particular out of the West region. So there's a lot of ranked teams there, and we kind of came in right where we are ranked nationally. So right behind some of those ranked like top 30 teams. And so I thought everything went okay. I think things could have gone a little bit better, but I still think it gave us a good kind of bar to start at our national competition level. And so continuing that this weekend at RMAC, we're going to see some of the teams that we saw there along with the rest of our teams in our conference. And so, just excited for that.
For the athletes, kind of old hats for you guys now being the veterans of the team and going to a conference meet, which you look at it, the talent is equivalent to what you see at regionals or nationals. What's your kind of mindset going into the conference meet this year?
Well, this is usually my favorite part of the season because it's really like all guts at this point and like who has kind of the best racing strategy, and it's also tapering season, so workouts are a little nicer to us and work on more speed. And I'm just looking forward to regionals and conference coming up soon, so that'll give us a really good picture with how we're standing in the rankings. So
Kerry, you've had some success with all conference honors throughout the years as a debut. Kind of what's going into your mind this week as the veteran of the team?
It's really weird to hear the word veteran next to my name now because I am only a junior, but I guess it was bound to happen eventually. I'm really looking forward to this weekend, having gone through pre-nats and seeing how well that went. Was definitely a pretty big confidence booster, I think, just because, like you had already iterated, that RMAC and our own region is usually bringing out some of the most talent on the national level. So going out and kind of tussling with all the other schools from other regions makes it's a good win in the sails going into the next couple weeks, just because sure, all those schools are great and have a lot of talent, but all that talent's really coming from us. So if I can hang with them, it's really exciting to see that we can definitely hang with people that are locally to us.
Coach, I'm sure you've looked at the course maps and probably done some scouting that way. How's the course suit the team?
We will see. I think the weather is going to be a big factor this weekend. So golf course, it's a little hillier than your standard modern cross-country course, which is kind of on a flat golf course. So I think it's more of a true cross-country course, which I like and I think will benefit us. We do a lot of in-season hills and we've got a lot of trails around here. So I think having some of that adverse terrain is going to benefit us. But it could also be buried in snow a little bit, and so I'm sure they'll try and remove some of that snow, but it could be a little slick. We'll just have to prepare for that, prepare for any weather scenario. It's supposed to snow Thursday night quite a bit up there in Durango, and so ideally they'll probably get it cleared by Saturday, but it could be wet in spots. They might have to alter the course a little bit, so we'll just have to prepare for that. And then just our last run at a dry run before regionals when it really matters. So
as an athlete going into that, kind of the weather factor, is there anything you do physically or mentally to prepare a little different?
I mean, growing up in Colorado, you kind of have to deal with whatever comes next, because one day it's going to be beautiful and sunny out and the next it's going to be 6 inches of snow. So I think in terms of conference, since most of us are coming from that kind of situation, we'll all be kind of there. But if anything should happen at regionals, I do think we kind of have the upper hand there because, you expect the unexpected around here. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. A true cross-country course, you think of a little bit more rugged type scenario. So I'm really excited to see what happens if that is the case this weekend.
back a little bit, it's not every year you guys get a chance to see the Nationals course before that meet in the same year. So for the athletes, what are kind of some of the things you took away from running that course and getting that experience under your belt, since obviously you guys want to be back there later in the fall?
Yeah, I think it was really inspiring to all of us because we wanted to be back there, and checking out the Nationals course really like showed us how like fun it can be at that stage. So I mean, checking it out just gave us a lot more motivation, and it was honestly a really cool course. So yeah.
Definitely like getting the opportunity to have already checked it out a couple of weeks ago. The course is beautiful. We're right on the Puget Sound, so the rest of the season is going to be motivated by just getting to go back to Seattle and getting to compete with some amazing people and being in a really cool part of the country that I've never been to before.
Not that you didn't want to go to Nationals anyway, but does seeing the environment sort of, like you said, that extra motivation, does that sort of make it more of a real sort of tangible goal for you guys that you can sort of visualize?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just really, like I said, inspiring to us to want to be back there, and just a really cool city too, and it'd be really fun.
So for the athletes, what you mentioned being from Colorado, you kind of have to do whatever the weather brings to you. Seattle's not a warm place, but how does being from Colorado give you the advantage of running in the cold versus other teams?
I mean, kind of exactly what you said is already being a little more inherently like, all right, it's just another day, another dollar. Like, it's cold, no big deal, throw on a long sleeve. Being at sea level, though, was definitely a huge advantage to us. That felt really nice to be it felt more controlled. So, honestly, if the cold is the biggest factor, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, we were just in Seattle running with our shirts off when it was raining out, so yeah. We got some comments saying like we're crazy and stuff like that, so I think it definitely does have an advantage to us, but yeah, we'll be able to race in like terrible conditions and be okay, I think.
Coach, obviously your leaders sitting here with you, but who's ready to kind of break out and really help the team aspects on Saturday to accomplish meet, maybe someone that hasn't been there before?
Yeah, well, I think, on the men's side, we've got three kind of, consistent front guys. So Tony, and then Ethan, who's been out here before, and then Tristan. They're kind of our top three guys, and I'm looking for them to just stay consistent and confident this weekend and kind of lead the team. And then we've got a redshirt freshman, Kevin DeGree, who's been running really, really well, and I think his confidence has just kind of been increasing gradually throughout the season, and I think it's going to reach its all-time high right when we need it to. And then we've got a couple other veterans in there that I'm looking forward to stepping up. One of those is Peter Martin. He was great for us the last couple of years, and so hopefully he's someone that can step up this weekend. And then Mark Testa as well. Both of them have kind of had up and down seasons so far with injuries and getting sick, but I think hopefully they can pull together at the crucial part of the season. Then we've got a couple other guys, Casey Amori and Adam Mobley, who've been running pretty well for us, and they've just improved drastically after their first 2 years here, and so interested to see what they can do at this championship caliber race now that they have not seen before. And then on the women's side, we've got Kira, who's been kind of our consistent top girl, and then we've got a group of three girls who've they're ready to take a giant step forward. They just need to plug in everything that we've been doing in practice into a race, which is something they haven't really been able to do yet. But if we can get that figured out in a race scenario, primarily this weekend, that way we know we're comfortable doing it at the regional meet in a couple weeks where things really matter. I think we've got a good shot at getting ourselves to nationals. Our men are ranked 8th in the region right now, which is probably going to be how many teams go out of our region. I think it's going to be somewhere between 7 to 9, which is a lot, but we're in the most loaded region in the country, and so we're going to take probably 7 to 9. We need to work and try to put ourselves up there in the top 5, in my opinion. I think we can do that, but I feel comfortable that we can get at least 7th. And then on the women's side, we're ranked probably every week we're either like 10th or 11th, but really there's a close grouping between like 7 and 11. So there's a lot of teams right there fighting for that spot. And I think if our pack does what they need to do right behind Kira, then we can definitely make it and we can surprise some people. So that group of Kendall, Ricky, and Alyssa, I'm really looking forward to them putting everything we've done in practice together in a race this weekend, and then being able to kind of go into a regional meet confident because of that.
All right, guys. Question of the week. It's a survey question this week, so you can form your own opinion or discuss amongst yourselves. Tennis ball. Is it yellow or green?
I actually have the engineering answer to that question. The answer is that it's actually green if you put it into MATLAB, and if you I just feel like such a dork right now. If you put if you were to color select it and like take the pixel out of it, it registers as green. You would get a 0 mark for red, a 0 mark for blue, and the yellow like barely crops up. So that's green.
What do you say?
I would have said green.
I think it looks more yellow, but I'll trust these two. They're pretty smart. So
That kind of settles it right there.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much.